I just bought a dishwasher recently. You know what, when I buy a dishwasher, I don't care really about how it looks. I don't care where it comes from. I don't care about the story of the brand. I care that it will take a 13-piece dish set. I care that it doesn't use too much electricity. I care that it doesn't use too much water. The reviews are okay, and I got a killer deal on it, and I got the cheapest one I could with the specs and the reviews I wanted. Of course, I'd never buy a watch that way, would I? Welcome back to Not So Obvious Watches. I'm Pete McConville. A couple of weeks ago, I threatened to start this discussion about quality, specs, value, and watches and watch reviews. Well, I'm starting today. I'm not going to get very far into it. Really, I'm just going to talk about kind of the history of what got me here and some of the things I've tried to do so far and set you up for where I'm going to go in the future. Okay, so what got me here? A couple of weeks ago, I did some videos about the direction of Breitling. As I was getting into the brand, I was warming to the brand, and got a lot of comments back. A lot of people who just don't like the brand, that's fine. A lot of people who came back, they don't like the watches, that's fine. The ones that made me really sad, and they made me sad to read, were comments that came back both here and in Facebook threads at the time, saying, I kind of liked the watch, but whatever watch that was, the Chronomat or the Super Ocean or the Super Ocean Heritage or the Premier, and saying, I kind of like the watch, but you know what? I can get something with the same specs for less. So I'll just buy that, or that's the one I would choose. And it's like, this isn't not so obvious microwaves. People don't go to, just one more dishwasher. We don't have Adrian from Bark and Jack going over to factories in China, wandering through places selling us, clothes dryers. None of us are into that stuff. We invest zero passion into that. So I get in those worlds, all we care about is price, specs, and did we screw the best deal we possibly can out of the seller. But it really, quite frankly, it kind of saddened me to see that mentality coming into watches. The reduction of these things that should have so much feeling, so much sense of, I'll keep saying this word, passion in it, reduced to the dumbest level of commodity that is bought and sold purely on some cost-benefit ratio. And I started thinking, well, one, that was part of this whole discussion of, that's it, I'm done. I'm not reviewing watches anymore until I can address this both in my own head and start to talk about watches in a way that was actually meaningful, because I was not doing that. At the same time as I was looking at these comments coming up on Facebook, I was looking at my own watch reviews and a little disheartened by the fact I was clearly struggling to talk about how a watch made me feel. And I was dropping into trying to fill that void with just words. More and more words describing the watch. And my watch reviews were getting longer and longer. My first watch reviews were like 10 minutes. The last one I did was like 29 minutes. And that was after cutting out so much verbiage. And there's still too much there. Why? Because I couldn't capture what I was feeling and getting across to you. I was trying to reduce it to something concrete, some clean line on a checklist, to sort of make the irrational rational. And I was failing, and I knew I was failing, and I didn't know where to go. So I'd kind of stopped. I also, and that was happening, and I was hearing these comments about, you know, reducing watches down to commodities. I reached out to a few people. I reached out, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, I reached out and had a conversation with Nick from Fears Watches, lovely man, about how does he, as someone who's worked in the industry, as someone who's tried to reach out to people who are building parts for him, as someone who designs a watch, how does he think about quality? How does he specify it? I was hoping that there was some secret language that he could sort of let me in on, so that I could better capture that. And as it turned out, there isn't. As it turns out, there's the things which I think a lot of us are uncomfortable with. There's poetry and feeling and metaphor and simile are really the only ways of capturing what are quite often quite subtle, difficult to see, impossible to see from no matter how high res the image is, impossible to see on a phone screen or even a 4K high def, you know, huge monitor that you can only sense with the watch in your hand. And it's, as Nick was saying, as a watch designer, as a watch builder, as a watch seller, as a watch lover, that's what he has to use. And I found myself thinking, well, that's what I've got to do. And I've got to try and find some way of doing that. And you know what? I don't know how. I'm going to try. I'm going to try and capture some of that and get it through to you in the videos that are coming. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't even know what it's going to look like, but I'm going to try and convey to you what a watch makes me feel when I'm holding it. Yeah, so that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to try and get past this idea that a watch can be reduced to a commodity with a set of checklist items that get ticked off, and that somehow that equals something that means anything. If you have any ideas about how you capture how a watch is making you feel, how you talk about the qualities of a watch, please let me know. If you think someone does this well, please let me know. Put it in the comments below. I have no pride in saying I'm trying to learn about this stuff, and I'm more than happy to try and figure more out. Where I'm going is I'm actually finding people that review beers and wines do this really well. They have they have like technical things, alcohol content and turbidity and clarity and all that sort of stuff. But frankly, they kind of skip through that really quickly, and then they start talking about nose and bouquet and mouthfeel and velvety and chocolatey, and maybe I'm finding that's the direction I think we need to go. Anyway, like I said, this is going to be a journey for me. You are more than welcome to come on it with me. Hope you do. I've been a terrible YouTuber, so please, if you really do want to come with it, hit the subscribe button. My subscriber numbers are going in precisely the wrong direction. It would be great to turn that ship around. But yeah, so if you aren't a subscriber yet, please hit the notification button, and I'll see you later. Bye.